Apple and almond strudel. Now, quite often we see a strudel and we all think, goodness me, I could never ever make that. Well, I'm going to show you that you can make it. It really isn't that difficult at all, quite simple, and bearing in mind, of course, the phyllo pastry that we're going to roll it in, you can buy that already rolled. It really is quite simple. The hardest thing about this job is peeling the apples. Peeled the apples, quartered them, and you can see just cut out that little touch of core there, and that is it. So the next thing, of course, is to cut them up into nice little slices. So it doesn't take long, and you want them to be anything from about sort of 2 to 3 millimeters thick, of course, so they'll become lovely and tender during that cooking process. These are quite a good size apple, so you might even get away with just having 2 of them. I've gone for 3 because I like to make sure it really is lovely and fruity. And there'll be a little touch of lemon juice going into this, which I'm just going to add to the apples to begin with, to try and retain actually this nice, lovely colour that they hold. So that's it. Apples are done. Lemon juice, as I mentioned, well, I'm going to add really the juice of about half a lemon. That's all you're going to need. You really don't need any more. The next thing, I want 2 heaped tablespoons of the ground almonds. We're really going to make sure that that really absorbs all of those lovely juices. Now, it's about sort of a heaped tablespoon of the fruits as well, and that is raisins and the golden sultanas. And then literally it's just half a teaspoon of the ground cinnamon if you're going to use it. Not essential, but I love the flavour of the cinnamon working with the apples. And we also need something just to lightly sweeten this. There we are. So that's it. This is what we've got. Next, the phyllo pastry. As I said, you buy this ready rolled and you just need 2 sheets. That's all we're going to need. I'm going to open this up, as you can see. Let's lift this off. So we're taking one off the top. Let's just leave that to one side. In fact, fold it over so it doesn't dry out too much. I am now going to brush this with a little touch of melted butter. And here's a good little tip for you. Just make sure when you're brushing it, you keep it really gentle. And then, of course, you're not going to tear that pastry. We all know how thin this actually is, delicate. But if you treat it just like this, you really won't have any problem at all. And notice here, look, there's a little tear. I'm really not worried about that because we've got 2 layers. The second layer is going to cover that. Next stage, let's bring this here, just to open that up. And now just slide that up so you get to that point and then you literally just let go. Now, again, I'm going to make sure this is brushed. The next thing now is popping on these apples. And if you want to, you can be very particular and sort of lay them all out like this, which takes a little bit of time, but it can be worth it. I'm not going to worry too much. If you watch what I'm doing, I'm putting it in this kind of rectangular fashion, just along the front here. And let's make sure all of these almonds, all of these fruits are scattered across the top. Right, here's the next stage. Really easy. All we're going to do is fold in that side like that, pushing it down so we seal there. And likewise here, just keeping that with a nice straight edge to it. And now we're simply going to roll. And it is folding that over and then just lifting it all in one like that. And there's nothing fancy about the shape, nothing, you haven't got to worry about that, because then all we're going to do is roll it again. And there we have a delicious looking apple strudel. Pop it in the oven. Anything between 170 and 180 will be absolutely spot on. And that's going to take about 20 to 25 minutes. But if you feel it needs to be a little bit more golden brown, don't worry about it. Leave it in your oven for another 5 or 10 minutes. It's really up to you whether you like it really deep and rich and super crispy or slightly softer. So that's it. The strudel's been cooking for about 25 minutes. Let's take a look. Oh, that looks lovely. Really does look lovely. Look at that. Let's now get a palette knife and lift it on like that. Some icing sugar to finish it. Now just that little touch of cream, just a nice little drizzle across the top like that. That is what I call a delicious apple and almond strudel. Can you hear that crunch?